scripts, cause I never tripped on what they said. If you speaking from your heart, naysayers gon' aim for your head.
Hey everyone, it's Mark from WIPMX.com. Today I'd like to revisit a video I made about a year ago on how to create a Scrum board using Microsoft Excel. So about a year ago I did this video demonstrating how to create what you see on the screen using Microsoft Excel. But what I did not do was go into any details on how I use this to manage projects. And that's what I want to cover in today's video. So with that said, let's get started. So for the purpose of this video, you'll see a number of tabs down here, but I really want to just focus on Sprint Backlog and Scrum/Kanban Board. So in my Sprint Backlog, if you look at my column headers, you'll see I have the epic identified, what sprint this is. And again, remember, this is the Sprint Backlog, not the product backlog. So user story role, the user story role identifies the people that we need input from. So in your typical user story, it's as a X, I need to do Y for the benefit of Z. I do not do that. I basically, in the story details, I give the actual details, what it is that's required. Because who it is identified here. I give the story a name. And then, again, I just go straight to the details. Like you see here, there are 10 artists currently exhibiting at the art gallery. Each artist should be provided one page to showcase their art. So basically, we're going to provide a gallery within the website for each artist, and in that they'll have their their name, their bio, and maybe some examples of their work. So each story has a story ID. The purpose of the story ID is, if you see here, typically a user story will take 3, 4, as many as 7 tasks to complete. Well, no, it shouldn't take 7. Anything more than 5, you need to break the story into a smaller pieces of work. But this right here just identifies that these 4 tasks are required just to complete this one story. So here you see your acceptance criteria, and I'm actually working on another video because I see some people throw around the terms acceptance criteria and definition of done as if they're interchangeable. They're not, but I'll cover that in another video. But here you see your 4 tasks that are required to complete this one story. If you look below, this story has 3 tasks. This story, we haven't identified the task. Again, this is all just made for the purposes of this video. So back to story ID 1, these 4 tasks. So it's these tasks that actually make it into my Scrum board, as you see here. So if you're using some sort of project team site or SharePoint, that's great, because you can put this there and team members can come into the project team site, access the Scrum board, grab a task, and then the developer or whomever is working on it, will progress it through the Scrum board. So, requests for bio and picture from each artist. I guess that could be anybody on the team. That could be the Scrum Master, really. That should be pretty straightforward and done. And then you just have the other items that are being worked on by other team members, and they're being progressed by those team members. It should only be the team member that's working on the story that should move it through the board. And as the Scrum Master, if you notice that is not happening, and the way you can tell is during your daily Scrum, when they speak on the work that they're doing, if they have this that's done, getting the bio and picture and everything, but you take a look at the board and it's in the to-do, then okay, that's something that you can pick up with that individual, not during the Scrum, because that's not what the daily Scrum is for, but you can take it offline and just say, hey, whatever. One of the things I do with my Scrum board is I will always have a roadblock and escalation column. Typically you have your to-do, in progress, QA, and done. I add that just for visibility because, again, in that shared repository where this document lives, there are stakeholders, in my case at least, that have access to it as well, because this is a quick graphical representation of, hey, this is what's going on during this sprint, and that way there's not too many questions. I mean, if something's roadblocked, that might generate questions. And in the case of this, an example of why this will be roadblock, you have 10 artists. If you look at the, so there's 10 artists that we need to reach out to get this information, but 5 of them are on vacation. So we can't complete this part, this task, until those 5 return and we get the information. So that's an example of why something will be blocked. And that's really pretty much it. Again, you just have your stories here, not your stories, I'm sorry, your task to complete each story. I try not to have any more than 5 tasks at a time progressing through here, but I mean, it's really up to the individual. One really cool thing you can do as well is what's called walking the board. So rather than going in a circle and developer X talks and then or developer 1 will speak, developer 2 will speak, and developer 3 will speak, you can actually walk the board, which is basically where you take the user stories, and I keep saying user stories, I'm sorry. You take the tasks that are on the board and okay, who's working on this? Actually, whoever the owner is should actually put their name down here at the bottom. So it'd be like Mark Clark. And that way you know that who's working on it. But you would go to Mark, okay, what's going on with this? Mark talks. You go to Sergio, Sergio speaks. You go to Mohammed, Mohammed talks. And finally you get to Juliana, and Juliana speaks. And then that way that gives you also an idea. You have the visual of what's on the board, and then that gives you an idea of who's doing what and where exactly it is. Because one thing I hate is to hear developers say, compiled code yesterday, compiling code today, no blockers. Okay, yeah, you're compiling code, but you really haven't told me that much. But don't want to get into that rant. So anyway, I'll put a link in the description. You can actually go to my website and download this document. It'll cost you $5 US, but that just goes to help keep this channel going and give me time to get ideas and put new documents and stuff together. There's other documents on there as well, but this is one that most people seem to really gravitate towards. It's one of my more popular documents. I mean, everybody has Excel. I make these videos for people that are new to project management, so a lot of people aren't really that good with Microsoft Project. If you're with a smaller company, it might not even be available to you. This is something that can also be created in Google Docs, but everyone has access to Google Docs. Just about everybody has Microsoft Excel, so it's a really useful tool. It's fun to play with, and so yeah, I don't think $5 is too much to ask. But anyway, yeah, like I say, there's a link in the description. Excuse me. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe. Please give it a like. I just found out recently that likes on your YouTube videos do make a difference. So yeah, so do that, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Please leave some comments if you have any questions, or direct message me, and thank you for your time. All right.